Whoa. Cut the damn music. We're going to go off the cuff, off the script. We're going to do something completely new this time. Developers in under 15 minutes. One episode every day until we cover it all. This is Day 2 Update, DLC Edition.
First press conference that I guess we would talk about is one that, I don't know, they had a lot of good stuff, but it was stuff that we'd already seen. And that press conference would be the SquareEnix press conference. They had a lot of great games that were debuted and talked on at other conferences. So that's pretty much what they showed at theirs. They just kind of re-showed some of, Just Cause 4. We had Kingdom Hearts 3 and a few other things. I personally, I was kind of disappointed with Square Enix's press conference because I was looking forward to maybe some more information on Final Fantasy VII Remake. Maybe that rumored Final Fantasy VIII remake. Anyways, just a few more things that we could possibly look for from them, and I was sorely disappointed. I don't know how you guys felt about their press conference.
I mean, Kingdom Hearts, I'm kind of interested, but I personally never played 1 or 2, so I have to catch up before I can play that. So, nothing really stood out for me either.
So let me ask you this: What did they talk about? Tomb Raider, Just Cause 4,
right? Mm-hmm.
Captain, Superhero Pants. And
Captain Street, yes,
and Kingdom Hearts, right?
That's correct.
So, out of those 4 games, which one are you not getting?
Out of those 4 games, I don't think I'm not getting any of them.
So that was my point. I know on paper it's just like, they don't really have anything, but everything they showed is awesome. I want all of it. So to me, I thought they had a strong showing. It was just a little disappointing that they, prematurely showed everything off, I guess, if you will. But I mean, every game that they showed, I was like, I want that. So,
well, let me play devil's advocate and say, out of all those that they said, I'm only wanting one game, and that's the Tomb Raider game. The other ones, it's like I kind of wait and see what happens, maybe one day. But yeah, I'm not hating on those other games. They had their interests, but just nothing that really sprung out to me. But Tomb Raider, I mean, that's my jam right now.
So a free copy of Captain SquarePants isn't going to do it for you?
I'm going to be 100% honest. I didn't know it was free, but sure, I'll probably give it it's just like Life is Strange, man. That's been free like several times that I've never actually hit download, It's kind of like, those games where you say, hey, I'm going to get it, and you just never play it type deal.
That's fair. Well, let me ask you this. This is what that was disappointing to me is no Hitman, and to what Bo said, no Final Fantasy. Like, how can you have an E3 with no Final Fantasy? That's crazy.
Did you say no Hitman?
I mean,
I said no. I said no Hitman in the sense that they no longer have Hitman. So that was crazy.
Oh no, I was just going to say Final Fantasy. One thing that did disappoint me, even outside of FF7 Remake, is the fact that they had announced previously this year that they were coming out with a few more new episodes of story content for Final Fantasy 15. And the first one being Arden, based around him. And for those of you who played the game, you know who he is, what his deal is all about. Be really cool to play that episode. I would think that you guys would agree, those of you that played the game. And nothing. I mean, I would have liked to have seen some kind of gameplay, a teaser trailer or something. But yeah, on the Final Fantasy note, that was one thing that I was missing out on as well.
So I've never played Final Fantasy at all. I've never loaded a Final Fantasy. I've never even probably really held a Final Fantasy disc, you know what I'm saying? So Final Fantasy 15, I've been interested, never jumped on it yet. But Final Fantasy 7, 35 years old, I've heard nothing but about this game for 20 years almost, right? So, of course, I'm pretty stoked now. Like, all right, you know what? When the release comes out, episodic, whatever it may be, I'm going for it. I'm going to try it out. So, yeah, for 3 years now, I'm like, all right, give me some kind of date, something. And once again, this E3, they don't even mention it. So, definitely a kind of a surprise there.
After E3, the director announced that they have now officially come out of conceptual stages and are moving forward with actual production on the game, which is actually kind of terrifying if you really think about it, because that means that all these years since the initial announcement, what were they doing then if they weren't actually out of the conceptualization stage. You know what I'm saying? Like how are we just now getting to production? So that means that we're probably still 2 to 3 or more years away, i.e. next gen, before we possibly see this remake.
Let's hope my casket has Wi-Fi so I can download it and play it. Final Fantasy VII is all he's ever heard about. Bo, where do you fall on the best Final Fantasy?
That is an unfair question, sir.
13X.
Wow. That's not even funny, Rafe. If you're going to go that route, we might as well say 10-2 was the best Final Fantasy. Sorry, all you 10-2 lovers out there, but no, I mean honestly, man, there's a big. Well, actually, I won't even say big. There's a fine line between what is really the best and legitimately the best, and nostalgia and good memories. For years, I would have told you FF7 would have been what I consider the best or my favorite Final Fantasy. It always was in contest with FF8 because I have a special place in my heart for that game, as you know. But if I were to absolutely choose one, I got to tell you, man, I honestly think, and maybe it has something to do with the fact that it's the most recent that I played. I don't know. But I really think that if I absolutely had to choose what I think my favorite is, I think at the end of the day, I'd go with 15.
So let me ask you this, and then I wanted to respond on that. If you had to pick a top 3, go.
Top 3 will be 15, 8, and 7.
Okay. And I know for me, what I was going to say is when you said your favorite at the time was Final Fantasy VII, I'm over here like Zell, just like fist punching you in the chest here because I'm like, what? I loved Final Fantasy VIII, and Final Fantasy VIII was probably my favorite one up until 15, and I was hesitant on 15, if you remember, and I just ended up buying the regular standard, no bells, no whistle edition, which is unheard of these days. And within 20 hours, I fell in love with the game. Easily my favorite Final Fantasy game, and followed for me with 10, and then Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah, all great games, mentioned, and I mean it's a great series. And one that I hope they continue to do great things with. I hope that they kind of back off a little bit in the coming years with, as far as like continually going forward with the numbered Final Fantasies. I really hate the fact that they did 11 and 14 as online. I really wish they would have kept that separate from the numbered entries. But say for instance, what I'm getting at is Final Fantasy 16. Hopefully that'll be another single player centric kind of game like 15 and the other single player games. And the same trajectory that we were going with Microsoft and Sony's press conferences, each one we kind of gave a grade to on a scale of 1 to 10. So personally, I would say, given the fact that they didn't bring anything new, I understand that it was all solid stuff, but the fact they didn't bring anything new, I kind of went with a 5. They showed up, they did their thing. But it really wasn't anything that jumped out at me as far as the press conference specifically itself is concerned. I don't know how you guys felt about that.
I'd probably go 5 as well. I think, nothing like Mike said, you guys are looking at it going, yeah, you're going to get pretty much every game that they announced. I definitely got my interest peaked for Just Cause 4, like more than I probably would have been. I think had they like kind of said, hey, Microsoft, it's cool, you want to show off Tomb Raider, but we're going to do it. I think they would have had that wow factor. I just didn't think they had anything that made you go, wow.
Yeah, so for me, man, I would have probably given it a 7 just based off of if this is what they showed. But kind of like you guys said, Microsoft blew their load, number 1. And number 2, number 2, their conference just wasn't that great. I mean, if it was just like, hey, if they would even said, hey, we're going to keep Just Cause 4 for ourselves, or if they would have somehow kept Hitman, I would have probably given it a higher score. But I think at the end of the day, I'm going to give it a 6. So a little bit more generous than you two.
All right, well, there we go. We have 2 5s and a 6 for Square Enix's press conference this year, E3 2018.